This is the Poddy with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
Hey, it's time again for the Trim Healthy podcast with these two ladies who are super cool and super knowledgeable. I have to say, sitting in here week after week, I'm not just sitting and waiting on the show to expire. I learn so much. I actually get visuals like we did on the last show. I get these mental pictures of how sugar is, what it's doing, how it goes through the walls of the body, how it gets into the bloodstream, or how fat goes from a large molecule to a tiny one and then also slips into the bloodstream. And I have to say, I'm very happy today.
I was gonna be mean and comment on his shirt again, and I'm not. I'm just filled up with happy bubbles of love hearts and gorgeous things right now. Feels so nice. I'm a words, you know, the love language.
Yeah, that's my love language is words too.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Do you like praise?
No, it makes me uncomfortable.
When it's
I
praise.
love praise from my husband.
I love praise from my
okay,
husband. That doesn't make me feel uncomfortable.
I like physical touch and words of affirmation from my husband.
Okay.
Gifts,
That's interesting
but
because
he's a gifts person, so I have to learn to accept that.
But a proper love language, you should be liking. I guess you've just turned the switch off because typically you should like physical touch at all.
Yeah, but I feel like with my children, I
What do you
really
mean?
like. No, he's like, you should like physical touch from everyone.
No, I hate it.
Really?
Yes. Like I can give it to my children, but then at a certain age, I have to tell my brain to keep giving it to my children. I have to tell my brain, this is something you meant to do.
Yeah.
But at a certain age,
That's so
I
interesting.
feel awkward, like I feel removed. Like
Do you feel smothered by the hug or from a kid?
No. I love it when they hug me.
Because
But-
Arden's a big hugger.
Oh no, I love it when he
Oh,
hugs
Arden
me.
is
And
a
I
teddy
love,
bear
I
hugger.
love to give him hugs too. It's just that my brain starts thinking that I should probably give them room. You know what I mean? So I don't go do it as much myself.
and you don't need it.
But I'm telling you what, but with my husband, I totally.
Yeah, I need
great.
it too.
That's
I need it
so
from my
interesting.
husband. I
With-
don't feel loved. Like if he goes to bed and for some reason he's not feeling like he's a cuddler for me in bed, and I love that. He cuddles me to sleep. But if he's maybe got a sore stomach or he just lies on his bed like that, all night I'm like something. And I know it's not true. My husband doesn't love me. My husband doesn't
If
love
he goes
me.
starfish, you feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let him
Me too.
starfish.
Yeah, I know I should. But in the morning, I just don't feel as loved. And he's like, he had to tell me this morning, yeah, my stomach was hurting last night because he knew I was
Okay.
not feeling
And so
loved.
you recovered.
I recovered.
I'm the same way. It must be genetic.
Do you know I smother my children with physical touch and they push me off of them.
Yeah.
But they love it.
I mean,
At the end of the day.
I don't want people to think I mean, I love touching and hugging, like giving them like hugs and like sitting them on my knee when they're young. But it's just when they're older, it's the brethren. It's like this, it's the genetic thing. My dad was part of this brethren church where they're very reserved. And somehow we're a bit more reserved
I
with other
don't need to
people.
hug you at all.
I don't touch you. Like when we
In
give
fact,
each other
you
a
disgust
present,
me.
When we give each other presents, we give each other an air hug.
It's so weird. Serena and I
We don't. We,
I sometimes I'll touch you on the shoulder or I'll do that. That's about as close as we get.
Hey.
But like the front on hug, boob
Oh,
upon
I
boob,
could
I don't
never-
like it.
I can't do
How
that.
else do you hug?
I can't do that to any
I just
girl.
don't hug her. Yeah, Leslie's forced us
yeah,
hugs.
Mama Leslie, but she's
but
a mama.
a bit different. She's a teddy bear.
Les invented the hug, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Les
But I
is
love
like,
it when my children hug me of all ages. I want to get that straight.
Les
Here's my
should
children
charge
listening.
money
I do
for
love
her.
it. I love it. And I'm reminded, I love this. But it's just this natural thing I feel in my body. I probably should give them space, but it's not a good thing. I should.
if
activate
Les
it more.
hugs you, it's like God hugs you.
Yeah.
Like there's a God. Look
Yeah,
at
Mama
this.
Teresa, she is. Yeah. Her
Hey, do you
hugs-
guys want to
her
do?
hugs heal.
You guys want to do an air hug right now?
I mean,
No, not with you.
Come on.
I don't
have
feel
no
like I
need to
need to
even
hug
air
you.
hug
Have we
you.
ever hugged you? Because I don't think I've ever hugged you.
We've never hugged.
No.
And I don't
Just-
feel like I want to.
Just an air hug though. Reach out.
No, that's weird. I'm not doing it.
Just reach out. No, that's a
fine,
pat.
just-
That was a Sunday morning pat.
Do you know that we've got good meat?
I don't air hug anyone.
I hug you, Serena.
Except for
When
Pearl.
you
Pearl,
give me
if you
presents.
lead, Serene will join.
Pearl.
Serene's struggling.
Oh, okay.
Come on. Oh, see? Just sit
I
there.
feel
No,
gushy.
sit in it for a minute.
No,
sit in
because
it.
you've ran in front of us with your little green shorts too often.
Come on. Sit in it. Look.
I can't do it.
Close your eyes and bow your head.
Phone ringing.
Leave your phone alone. We have meat to bring these people.
I know.
Come
but
on, girls.
Can he stop air hugging, please?
Come on. Look, do you feel it on the shoulders?
No. I
don't feel good about
I feel like I've got poop in my underwear.
Poop in me underwear.
No, it was like this is not meant to happen. You know, like the air hug shouldn't be
I
happening.
just realized that.
You got a little
was
turtle
my
head
husband.
just popping out.
Um,
Just popping out for food.
No, I don't have. Let me be clear. I don't have poop in my underwear. It made me feel like I had poop in my underwear because it was like something that shouldn't be happening.
But now you have poop in your underwear.
No.
how many people? Nate's saying stop with it. Get on with the podcast. He's
is this
saying
a food
it's gross.
podcast?
Listen,
Nate
but
just told us our
we have
potty is
somebody
gross.
here.
We
We don't listen to Nate.
We love to go to the
Nate
poop.
just said this is not a poop podcast.
Nate doesn't
but
tell us what to do.
all our podcasts are poop podcasts.
And why is there a grown man in a blanket?
There are two grown men in blankets
They're snuggled up in blankets.
sitting in our podcast.
That's because they're in the line of the air conditioning.
All right, they're traumatized
Yeah.
by the poop. We got to get onto the meat.
Fine.
Some
Serene,
people appreciate.
There
poop
are many
talk.
people. No, they know what everyone
I
tolerates.
actually
our
wasn't
poop.
even talking about poop in real life.
It was metaphorical poop. I caught that.
Metaphorical poop. There is places for that.
For people tuning into a podcast for the first time today, how can we redeem this? We actually have meat.
I had meat, but it's not fleshed out. I had meat. I was talking to Pearl this morning. I have something on my heart.
Okay,
I
well,
wanted
let's
to
bring
say.
it. Stop. Don't unfold your arms and let it flow.
No, folded arms are where the intelligence begins.
Oh, okay.
Another quick air hug.
I never want to do that again with you,
Okay.
Jenny.
So, the last time I had the giggles like this, Pearl and I was singing.
Yeah.
We were on a concert, and I don't know why we were the headline act, but we were actually the headline act.
No
that
one should
night.
ever put us a headline
No,
act.
usually we were the supporting act. Yeah. This night we were the headlining act, and I got the giggles at the beginning of the night, and we tried to control it all night. I was praying desperately to the Lord. I was thinking about all my dead relatives. I was doing all that I could
All the tricks.
to get sincere and somber. I couldn't. We just kept on falling to the ground in spits of laughter.
It's terrible when
It
you
was
have to
terrible.
laugh, when you want to laugh, but nothing's funny and no one else is laughing.
The more they think this is so stupid, that's when it's just you can't control it.
JD can cut all this
I'm
out.
almost getting it right now.
I scream.
No, he can't. It's
Do you
part
know
of
what?
it.
While you're just getting yourself together, I will share a story of one
I
of the
bet.
times that
Oh, okay.
we were singing as a support act. And do you remember that we went on stage and we were both wearing skirts, long skirts?
Yeah.
And there was a nail poking
Yes,
out.
yes.
And you walked up on stage and then I walked behind you and my skirt got just clipped the bottom with the nail. And I was walking up and then those of you watching, and my dress went zhup, show my underwear.
I just jerked your dress off.
Not off, just down. And I quickly just ripped it back up. In front of like 1,000
And you know,
people.
it wasn't normal underwear though. Too.
No, it was normal underwear.
Because
You're
remember,
mixing up two stories. The other one was at my high school when I had Praise the Lord underwear. Well, that's another story.
It said
for
praise the
an-
Lord.
Yes. Okay, so I'll tell that story quick. We do have meat for those of you just joining in. We usually share good stuff. Okay,
No,
well,
but
in
our
high
Nana used
school.
to make us underwear. Remember, she used to
Yeah, but
make
that
it
was
for Christmas.
this was in America. I'm
Okay.
going back to high school. I was in high school, grade 9, and you have to wear these little short skirts when you do your PE day, and you're supposed to wear these blackies underneath. They're called blackies, and they're like
What?
they just
Like a racial slur.
No, in Australia you
The
shorten
black
everything.
pants.
It's Chrissy, it's Newy, it's
Okay.
the black pants. I don't know what you would call them here. It's almost like cycling pants. They're just short.
no,
and they
but
cover
that,
your
no,
bum.
no, no,
Spandex
no, no,
is-
no, they're actually boy short underwear.
Yeah,
The shape of boy short underwear today. They're not long, but they're not high
they're
up.
not like
Like boxer-
bikini underwear. They cover a lot of stuff.
They're like boxer briefs.
Yeah, no.
No, they're fitting. They are like boy short underwear.
Cycle shorts.
But they're thick
let's just
black
go with that
material.
because it doesn't really matter. But you're supposed to wear them. And you got a short skirt that just covers your bum, and underneath you got your blackies. That's what all the girls
Okay.
are wearing. But for some reason, I couldn't find my blackies. But you're not allowed to do PE. You get in trouble if you don't wear your black skirt. Well, I wore my black skirt, but I also could not find underwear that morning, any clean ones, except for the ones that said painted.
Did you make them?
Praise the Lord. Yes.
With fabric paint?
Fabric paint. We were trying out
Puffy
fabric
fabric
paint,
paint.
and these big old puffy white underwear. We were practicing with fabric paint. I thought I'll put them on these underwear that I'll never wear. It said, "Praise the Lord," fabric paint. And these are the only underwear I could find.
And you know, in Australia, it's a very atheistic country. You don't go to church with a bunch of Christians.
So anyway, and high school is ruthless in Australia. So I went to PE. Well, that
PE.
day, PE was gymnastics, where everybody was doing cartwheels. You had to stand in line and take your turn. So
No, they
you
get
also
serious about
had to
athletics
stand in
down
line
there.
and do your somersaults because it was gymnastic day. So it was my turn. And it was somersaults came first. And I did my somersault. My skirt fell down.
Oh, she got caught in the somersault.
I got caught with my bum up in the air. My praise the Lord was there for everybody.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Big white underwear. Praise the Lord with the bum up in the air. And you're stuck in a somersault. And I
She
never,
wasn't very athletic. She couldn't get out
to
quick.
this day, I couldn't live it down. I couldn't. Anyway,
This is great.
let's go to the
meat.
meat.
But
Okay.
yeah, who's
I could
designing?
never really be a conceited person because I've had too many just
yeah.
terrible moments in my
To
life.
remind you, you're a human.
School was the worst too.
Yeah. 10 minutes in.
So anyway, I was telling Pearl, I was saying how, you know, people, and especially in the health movement, it's just so rules, discipline. If you're going to get anywhere, you've got to be that Navy SEAL, and you've got to get all your willpower all shined up, and you got to do all this stuff that capital D discipline.
Well, what about like last week when Carissa said, you know, how can I stop binging sugar? A lot of time we just want to say, well, just self-control.
Right. It's natural. And also too, in the Bible, the law, the rules, the 10 commandments of Moses, it never saved anybody from sinning.
Yeah.
Basically, it didn't. It just
They were wise.
They were wise, but it was grace, and it was the cross, and it was the new covenant that actually helped them be
Yeah.
overcomers. But the law and the rules just kind of showed them up when they did fall, right? It just kind of was like, okay, well, I must have done number 6 wrong.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was just thinking about that lately. And I was actually listening to one of my favorite speakers again, Graham Cook, and he was talking about how we all have one thing in common as humans. We all have one thing in common. We all do what we jolly well want to do. We all do what we want to do. So we just have to learn to want to do stuff, right? And it made me start thinking, and I thought about our health journey, and I thought about talking to you guys on the Poddy. Like Pearl said, she thinks Dan and I don't think about you guys, but we do. Right, Dan? I was thinking about you guys. I was thinking, I want to bring this because it takes all these rules and makes it delight when you're led by desire. And I think our whole kind of makeup is to be led by desire. We do what we want to do, and we want to delight in life, and desire is a huge thing. And I feel like if we shine up desire and put desire in the spotlight, discipline just follows through. Because you think about all these people that are Olympic game medalists, right? They have to get up at like the most unearthly hours in the freezing, during winter, or just they have to do crazy kind of stuff, go to bed so early they can't ever go out with their friends or whatever because they've got to be so strict because they've got to get up in the morning, and they've got this certain kind of lifestyle, and it's just train, right? But they don't want to do it just for the discipline. They have a desire. There's that gold medal. That's their desire. And because that desire is so strong within them, the discipline they don't even have to think about it. It's like, this is just following suit. I have this goal. I have this thing that I want. And I think that's fantastic. I think that if we think about our health journey as desires and not just as disciplines, it's going to be so much more sustainable. Because Pearl, think about exercise for you. Our whole life. I've always said I love the clang of the iron. Like, I love to get in the gym, and I love to hear, like, even years ago when I did weightlifting because I've had different seasons, and when I had lots of babies, I kind of just stopped for a while. But anyway, I remember saying to you, Pearl, I love hearing the iron clang on the iron. There's something about it. I love it. And I love to get all sweaty in the gym. And you're like, no, it's just, I don't love that discipline. It sounds like discipline. I don't love that. But you got a desire. You got postmenopausal and you started to feel like your strength was waning and you got a desire. No, I'm going to age strong. This is my desire. And you get in the gym now and you clang the iron and you sweat.
But I still don't love the clang of the iron and the sweat.
But you don't even think about it anymore.
No.
Do you think about do you wake up and think, I have to be disciplined today?
No.
Or do you think, my desire is to age strong?
Yes.
All you think about is your desire.
Yes. And that's what puts me in lifting weights.
Right.
Exactly my desire. It's because if I didn't have that desire and I just thought, you must go to the gym and work out because that's disciplined life. No way.
Yeah.
No, desire is everything, Serene. And I think it's unique for each person. Serene, is really interesting. Do you think your friend would mind if I shared a little bit about her?
Oh, I think she wants to come eventually when she has a victory story. She's like, because she's so now about being, she knows she's going to get to her goal. She's like, I'm going to come on that party with you guys.
But can I share 30 seconds as an example?
Yeah,
because, okay, so some people, why do you want to get healthy, right? That's the why is of your health journey is your everything.
And what is the why? It's your desire.
That's your desire. What do you want out of this? What do you want to achieve? And kind of why? You know, because we have reasons for things. And so sometimes it's multiple reasons. But, you know, some people say you have to do it for yourself. When you get that want for yourself, that's a thing. But for others, that's crap.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it for themselves. Maybe it's for their grandchildren. They want to be around for them. Maybe it's, you know, it's something else. They want to achieve a certain health mark or, you know, there's, you know, I want to be rid of my diabetes meds.
Yeah.
Okay. That's their
desire.
Yeah. That's their desire. And they achieve that. And then once they're there, all the other benefits keep them there and they find another desire. Okay. Next goal. But it's kind of funny. I think that, so I don't think we're all cookie cutters. Like yours getting into exercise was clang of the iron.
But you know what? Not now.
Yeah.
It wasn't. My thing too is a little bit about this girl's story, and that's why I told it to
Okay,
her.
yes. I don't think I relate to as much, but I found it so interesting because Serene had this chat. So she's a really good friend of ours, and we'll bring her on the Poddy because I find it very interesting. And she used to be a trim healthy mama. She kind of still calls herself that, but she was on plan at one point, really gung-ho. And then life happened. What? Her mother died. And they moved.
Yeah, their house burnt down to the ground.
House burnt.
And they had an estrangement with one of their children.
Yeah, everything went hard in life. So, you know, eating was out the window. And then for years, she just couldn't get back
Well, she said
on.
she always got back to her goal weight after a baby. She
Yeah.
always cared. She always would walk around the lake and think about I need to move today. But after life hit hard, she's like, I don't care about my body anymore. I just don't care. It's just one thing I can't be bothered caring about. I have no flip in the world about it.
So we saw her recently. She's the funniest girl. We have to have her on the podcast.
So she's a laugh at me.
And she's like, look, I'm in the worst. I have not been out of shape like this, and I don't care. And she said to Serene, make me care. And so Serene started off saying, okay, well, your children need you. You need to be an example. She's like, no, that doesn't work. They're all examples. They do THM. No. Next.
Yes.
And she's like, well, your health, you know, you want to be strong as you get older. She's like, I don't care. No, next. Yeah. What else did you say?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, for your grandchildren and all this stuff. And then I'm like, and so, no, I'm going to be great for them. Like, I don't need to.
Yeah, she's like, for me, I don't care. She said, but what about, you know, how you look? Do you want to look like, you said you're heavy. Do you want to look like you were before? And now she's like, I don't care.
And so then I'm like, you're the temple of, because she's a Christian, you're the temple of the Holy Spirit. Don't you want to represent on the outside the strength and the growth that's happening on the inside? No, I don't really care. It's all great. I believe in all of it. It's fantastic, but it doesn't move the needle. Not enough for me to care.
And she said, make me care and be mean about it. She said, keep digging because I want to care. I just don't. So Serene.
Are you sure I could share it?
Yeah. I mean, not all the details because she'll come on and shit, but the gist.
Okay. Because I want it to be her story. But I was just saying to her, okay, well, what about for your husband? Because that's the main reason I get in the gym. It's really, I love to feel strong and I love to do things that are healthy for myself. But the motivation for me to get in the gym is I want to look after my husband's assets. Like,
assets.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like, I'm my, like, not in a weird way, like I'm my husband's property, but I kind of am. Like, and I'm actually like excited about it. Like one day he signed a contract and brought me. Like, not out of money or whatever, but I'm just saying he signed on to me for the rest of his life, and he was going to put all of his energy into me. Okay. And I'm like, okay, so that's a tall order, right?
JD's got a blanket wrapped around him, and you should see his face. He's got a big mustache in his corner.
That's a tall order. And he's a good man. My husband's a good man, right? He's not off with his eyes everywhere else. And I'm like, so I want to honor this good man. You know, he's staying laser focused on me. I better bring it. That's just called respect. Right?
But we're all different, so I don't get in the gym for that. I never think about my husband when I'm in the gym.
I told this to the girl. I'm like, you've got a good husband, and I know the type of man he is. He's so full of integrity.
And she said, "Keep going."
And she's like, yeah, we have a hot marriage. We're all great. And I'm like, yeah, but men are so visual. Like you need to honor him and all of this. Like he's keeping his eyes for you. You need to honor. And she's like, bingo. So she called me the other day. She's walking. This is like 3 weeks after our initial talk. She's like, guess what I'm doing? Should I say that?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm walking around the lake and I've got my 10 country music songs on my playlist and it's on repeat going round and round and round and round. Because do you know what they're about? They're all about the guys slapping their woman's bum in their blue jeans. And I need this for my inspiration. I need it because I'm all listening into the worship music while I'm dropping my children off at the homeschool functions, eating my fries. And the worship music's not helping me in this area. So I'm listening to my country music to get myself around the lake.
That's so true. You put your Christian worship music on. It's like, you're perfect as you are. God loves the real you. And you're like, that's right.
Eat some fries.
Have my fries. But yeah, you need that country music where it's like.
She's so funny. She's like, Serene, I'm listening to my country music bum slap and playlist.
But she's changed her.
Yes.
She has her why now. For all those things that used to be her why just went out the window. And that maybe it sounds to you listening a strange why, because I don't have that particular why, although I do want to.
It's huge. It's my main
I
why.
do want to keep healthy and look great for my husband. It's not why I go to the gym, or it's not why I eat healthy at all. It's for me.
Hey.
But whatever works for you, right?
Yeah.
I think, and I love that was it for her because it's very selfless.
Well, I just think I just feel like I said, it's just he signed on to you back then, and why not just keep it up as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, special message to those at home listening.
Keep it up. Keep the glutes high. Keep them north as much as you
Step
can.
your game up. Listen to the girls telling you how to throw down.
Why is he looking at the table?
They're in there, man.
Why is he looking at the camera?
Because they're home and they're looking at us. And they need to hear it.
No, literally.
Look, this is a...
What is...
Guys,
Hey,
and for the guys, this is a rare breed of female. Okay?
Oh, it's not said.
No, it's not said. And, everybody in the world is sort of like, I think internally thinking these thoughts. And there's a counter message for men as well here too, right?
Totally.
But like in a world of just like say nothing and accept everything, it's refreshing to hear women over the age of 35 saying, we believe in going for the gold.
Well, I just thought to myself, okay, you're going to think I'm some weird, like part of some weird cult, like some kind of weird...
it's a good cult.
Just in this day, you have to word it right, or people will think that you're totally going to wear your apron strings for the rest of your life and
I'll
be
take the blood oath.
subservient or whatever. I don't feel that way at all, but I also feel as a wife, kind of like, for those who are Bible readers, kind of like how Esther prepared herself for the king. She like just bathed in ass's milk and all of these essential oils and like prepared herself. I have this sense where I have a responsibility because to me, my husband's way cooler than that king. Like he is going to be, he doesn't have 600 concubines. He has me. And that's so cool. I want to honor that he is so faithful. And I want to honor the fact that like the bedroom better be hot then.
Do you know what? I mean, I obviously think it goes both ways. But all I can work on is me.
And my husband loves me,
Yeah.
whether if I had no legs, if I had like warts growing out of my nose, he loves me.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't ask me to do it, that's why I so want to do it.
Yeah, of course. There's this thing, when we get married, well, hey, you married me, and no matter what, And that is true. Sickness and health, you know, all of the vows we said, we're going to love that person. But I mean, even though Serene and I have different reasons and I don't get in the gym, I'm not thinking my husband when I'm in the gym like she is.
It's the way I get through that deep squat, man.
Okay.
I'm like, one more.
But I
can
do
it.
think there is a point that you're making that is not said, to Danny's point, that in this day and age, it's just do it for you. Yes, you have to do it for you, but why not do it for that person that you signed the contract with to protect like the asset that you're, I mean, you signed the covenant, right? So you're one. And I mean, it goes both ways, but I'm sitting here being the one that I want to be the healthiest person I can be for my husband. I want to, like, he likes me with, and this may sound really subservient too, but I do like to kind of, I like to please him with my looks. Like he likes me with bangs, so I just keep my bangs. I mean, it doesn't hurt me, right? So, you know, my husband does like me not too skinny. So I try not to be too skinny, build my glutes and stuff. And I'm not thinking, oh, I have to look a certain way for my husband. But I do like to please him. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And I think it goes both ways. Men should keep themselves healthy for their women too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it works, let's just say you have got no inclination to be healthy for you. If you're married, be healthy for your husband.
It's kind of like things that I didn't enjoy when I had my children. I would always, the desire would, the want, the why wouldn't be me, it'd be them. Like when I could go through natural childbirth, but I hated getting those needles, the blood drawn for every baby. You have to go and get that blood drawn and everything. I would put it off. Now I take needles all the time for the hormones, but I would.
But
put
they're not
it
in the
off.
vein here.
No,
It's just in
but I
your-
put it off and put it off and put it off. But when I would do it, I just shut my eyes and go, "I'll do anything for my baby. I'll do anything for my."
Yeah.
baby. That was the way I got through it, you know. But it's like if you find a why, and oftentimes when your why is not yourself, sometimes it's more powerful. Sometimes it's more powerful.
That's interesting. I do think I have one of my whys is my grandchildren because I do want to be strong for them. And because of my ectomorphic body type, that kind of, you know, thin white female loses bone so quickly, can lose muscle so quickly. I had this picture once of me being that frail woman that could barely hold them and, you know, just being weak and like picking them up and breaking a hip or something.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's no way. That's not right for them. That's
Yeah.
not fair for my grandchildren. So I'm going to contend.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I want to be. So yeah, that's why I get in the gym for myself to be strong, but also for my grandchildren.
Yeah. I love it. What about you, Dan? Do you have a why that keeps you motivated?
The desire.
Yeah, a couple of very selfish reasons. One is being on the hiring side or the casting side and seeing what you buy into or who you want to be, you know, your video editor or your whatever. It's impossible to get around the fact that as you're looking through bios, your eyes fall on the most attractive people, men and women, right? It's not a desire thing in terms of them, and it's not personal like that. It is physics. Your eyes fall on naturally more beautiful things, and they get first call. So for me, I want to increase opportunities in acting, in hosting, in business. It's
So you can make more money?
100%. Yeah, I want more opportunity. I don't want to slowly make less money in life. I want to quickly make more money in life. And the other thing is I seem to notice a correlation with the more you take care of yourself, your mind, your body, both in food and in exercise, there seems to be this mirroring effect of goals in your life happening alongside, from parenting to business. I find that it could be in my head, but I feel like my kids look at me with more respect. I feel like I inspire my sons to do more in life. It's not their dad who, like my son, I'm 5'10". My oldest son is 6'2".
Wow.
And I'm 150 pounds, 5'10". My oldest son is 6'2", 182 pounds. Okay. So he gets it from my wife's Viking side. And he's not the Latino bullfighter. You know what I'm saying?
In the suit, the tight
like
suit.
the bull can't get the guy. He's too small. Like, no. he's just this ripped D1 football playing athlete.
Yeah.
And he respects me 1,000% as far
Yeah.
as I know. But I notice like we bond over weights now. We talk
Yeah.
about what we're lifting. We talk about,
Yeah.
there's this like, it's not just my sons, but the men around me, the people around me. There's, you begin to attract people who are going where you're going, you know, and people who aren't get inspired by you. And they're like, hey, what are you doing? What are you eating? It's just this overall, there's all these rewards, and life to me feels so much happier
Yeah.
on this path to like physicality. And it's, you know, and once you break through, and this is so old and long since broken through this, but like, you know, there's some religious mindsets that I think people need to break through. There's some, you know, just kind of having that like, who cares attitude, you know, like, or that's vain.
Yeah.
You know, that's selfish or
Yeah.
vain or, and you kind of, you know, I guess I did have to break through some of that, you know, as you're doing your next rep and you're not reading your daughter a book, you know, you're in the
Yeah.
gym instead. And, but I've just been making a lot of shifts.
I think the respect thing that you said is so huge, Danny, for ourselves and for our children as they grow and they're growing.
And for our husbands, or for wives, if you're, I just think you're respecting the other person.
Yes, true. And I want the respect of my grown children. That's something I seek and something I want to cultivate. And I feel like as they see me looking after my body, but not to the extent where it is all consuming and it's become an obsession and I'm just all about, you know, freezing a 30-year-old body. But
Yeah.
just honoring that, I feel I do have the respect more. But you know what? I have my respect. I have to have
that's
my
the
own
biggest one.
respect.
Yeah.
And when I walk past my bed, I realize that it's unmade. I don't have respect, so I make it. Just like this morning, like sometimes I miss, you know,
Yeah.
for years I didn't make it. Now I'm a bed maker. As soon as I make that bed, I can respect myself more. It sounds stupid, but the little things add up, like Danny, like you're saying, and then the rewards come. When I respect myself, others respect me more.
Yeah. And when you respect yourself, you also carry yourself differently in micro transactions throughout your life, whether that's business or personal relationships. You make better eye contact, or you speak up when somebody says, what do you think your strength is? You don't pretend to be humble. You actually tell them what your strength is, and then they go, oh, you're hired, or oh, we'll do business with you. Or so like these little things add up to like could course your life in a very powerful dreams fulfilled direction or not. You could live. So that's why it's important. You could literally spend decades never really attaining what you feel called to do or what you feel your purpose is. And it's like, wow, is it really that deep to really work out and eat right? Is it really that deep? It's 1,000% that deep, because we live in a world of physics and realities and
We
particles.
do. We jolly well live in it.
You know, yeah, and I wanted to say how, you know, a lot of people think, oh, well, this, you know, these healthy habits that I need to make, whether it's exercise or food or mental habits or whatever, there's just going to be extra energy. And, you know, I really just need to spend that energy reading to my child on the couch, like you said. Isn't that the most important thing? But the thing is these healthy habits and even exercise exertion gives you energy when you're not abusing it, which doesn't help anyway. They actually are life-giving, and they oxygenate your blood and they give you energy. Even just healthy mental thoughts oxygenate your blood because you breathe differently when you think differently. But all of these things, they give you more energy so that when you get to the couch and you finally can read your child a book, you're not falling asleep while you're reading it to them. You're reading it to them with more life. And those experiences that you have with your children are going to be so much more deeply connected and more larger than life.
Can I give you an example on
you
that?
will be larger than life.
So on that note, right, my daughter Ansley and I, we have the biggest laughs. We will scream laugh together. We have this game where I pretend I'm going to grab her collarbone and pull her rib cage off. And that sounds psychotic, but she does it back. She's like, I'm going to get your rib cage. And, you know, it's just terrifying for a kid to picture like that's how it's going to happen. And it's not possible. But that's sort of like the thread is like, I'm going to get your rib cage. And so she tries to get me, and I'm actually ticklish. So I'm scream laughing and I lose my strength because I'm being tickled. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so it's just these beautiful moments, but like when reading a book, usually if I'm reading a book, like back in the day, it would just be like, and then this happened and that, and I'm just trying to get through this dang book.
You're exhausted.
Because at the end of it means you're going to bed and I can go do what I want, or I can go to bed. And like now I'm giving like voices to each character,
Yes.
and what's the net result? My daughter scream laughs.
Yeah.
That's a memory.
Yeah.
What would you trade to have that memory of her not just having another mundane dad grinded through the book and put me to bed, and I can sort of, like, kids are smart. They can tell dad's getting through this. She's
Yeah.
even said that. Like, I'll finally be like, all right, baby, I'll stay longer. And she's like, well, no, I'm sad because you don't want to stay.
Yeah.
Like, as I'm putting her to bed.
Yeah.
And why don't I want to stay? Because I'm exhausted, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, lately I forgot about that. But it's these micro transactions. It's the voice that you give to the character in the book when you read to the kid that they're never going to forget.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's, even when I share a couple like business reasons, but like in the deeper side of me, like those are things like a million years from now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll look at Ansley and be like, do you remember those times we had back there on Earth when we read those books? And that's real stuff, man.
It's so important, and I want you to talk again too, Pearl, but I wanted to just say really quickly, it's just so beautiful. I think the why is, the children being a why is such a beautiful thing. And, sometimes when you're raising them, it's really just busy, But when they're raised, then starts the deeper, incredible relationship. And if you're starting to be checked out a decade into that, because maybe you're losing your memory. Maybe you can't even like reminisce with them as well. Maybe you can't go on those special hike trips with them. All your children are raised. Now you're free. You could go on those hike trips with them. You could go on places with them. The fun, life-filled ventures that they want to do. You want to have the vigor enough to do. And so I feel like keeping yourself healthy enough so that when that real journey begins with your children, that's so special.
Eye contact.
Yeah.
Eye contact for me requires a lot of energy. If I'm tired or if I'm stressed or I'm overly busy in my brain, they're talking and I'm like, yep, and I'm just like, what do I have to do and where is it? And I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah. Well, if you have a more of a inferno energy source happening because you've committed to a certain type of lifestyle, for somebody who, like for other people, like without ADHD, or whatever that is, they may have to conjure energy for other things, but I have to conjure energy for focus and attention.
Wow.
It takes a lot of energy.
Wow.
And I really, there'll be a voice in my head saying, pick the left eye, pick the right eye, lock onto that one. Don't go back and forth. Don't look away. There's a voice.
Wow.
I'm consciously in connecting with people.
Yeah.
I have to tell myself to do it. It's not
Wow.
natural. And it's all I want is to deeply connect with, especially my children.
Yeah.
And so to have the strength and energy to connect, it's life or death. Like, what am I doing here if I'm not connecting with my babies?
Right. Yeah.
And so, these things you can't even know are missing from your life until you just, like when we're talking about finding your why, until you find that why and those reasons, you don't know you're missing these things that people will live and die and never know they missed.
Yeah.
I was thinking something that you said, Danny, we live in a world of physicality. You're talking about some of the religious things that kind of give us an excuse. Sometimes those of us who claim to be, Christian churchgoers, whatever, and, that's a bit vain. I want to concentrate on my spiritual life or whatever. But like you said, God is a physical God. He made physics, right? He made our muscles to grow upon stimulus of lifting heavy things. That was God. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't want to use his creation. I would call that, come to the pearl of the, what is it called? Heretical church. Yeah. But I would call that non-spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, who cares if you made that
of
God?
course,
I'm
if
not
you're
going
in
to
a
use
wheelchair, that's
that's
totally
different.
Yeah.
it's
Anomalies
But I'm like,
aside. Yeah.
Hold on. Our bodies were made to take in a certain amount of blood sugar, carbs, fats, macros, protein, and we're made to get a nice amount that goes into our cells But when we do things that, that are outside of our physicality, like eat or drink a Coke, eat a candy bar. Outside of our physicality, things are going awry. Okay, come to Pearl's heretical church again. I call that unspiritual because God's the designer. He's the creator.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we work and flow with that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay. You probably won't want
That's
to come
not
to my
heretical.
church.
Can I sit up front at your church?
You want to come to my altar call, but I'm saying, some people say, well, hey, just the spirit man. And Paul said, it profited man a little for physical exercises, but back then they were walking all flipping
Everywhere.
day.
Yeah.
They were lifting water from the well.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was just a normal thing. And
I mean,
and the journeys, it says in the Bible, they walked from, here to Jerusalem. I went over there. I drove that in a car and it was a jolly well long way.
It's hard in the car.
I mean, so, and it still profiteth. It still profiteth a little, but now, well, it profiteth the needeth time.
Now it's life or
needeth.
death.
It's a needeth.
Yeah.
And so that's Pearl's church time for you.
No, it's so good.
That's not my why, though.
No, but I just want to say, because
It
on
might
that
be some
subject,
people's why.
But
they
just
desire.
on that subject, though, I want to discuss. That's why people go to church for spiritual reasons, and it's so beautiful, and I love it. But then they pig out on all the special donuts and all the sweet foods afterwards, and to me, it doesn't match. It doesn't match because we're worshiping the Creator, and so we should kind of like respect the boundaries of His creation.
I've never really thought about it like that. So you actually find it.
I find it offensive.
Wow.
Yeah. No,
But
I do.
if I can connect with my children
kinda interesting.
more because I'm healthy,
Yeah.
it's as spiritual as it gets.
Yeah.
So
It's not about
true, Danny.
like for me, it's not spiritual is God pleased or not. I'm not talking
No.
about Greco-Roman spiritual thinking about like a God with a lightning bolt who's going to be mad or he's going to be happy and send rain
yeah.
on my crops. I'm talking about the spirit being nurtured in the earth, me manifesting the goodness of God in connection with a child.
It's true.
That is spiritual. And so it's like, no, like that was my religious mindset. It's always, was God happy or was God mad? And so then it was like, oh, if we even talk anything about the spirit, I'm holding my chapstick.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. If we say anything spiritual in relation to food, we're getting into cult territory, as long as God was a Zeus-like happy or mad God. But I'm not talking about whether I'm making someone happy or mad. I'm talking about, is
Are we
goodness...
flowing with Him? Too?
Yes. Are we in the flow? Is goodness issuing
Right.
forth on
It's
the
so
planet?
true.
I said
And now,
forth.
you said when you got offended, it offends you.
Yeah.
That's just your personal take. Like, we all have different desires, right?
No, I think
Yeah.
I think God is not going to strike anyone
Yeah.
with a lightning bolt just because they brought donuts for the special
But you see
fellowship
it as a
meal.
mismatch.
It's a mismatch in my head. I don't get it. It's not the flow of life.
Yes.
We're all being all about life, and this here is a bit of poison on the table. I don't
The
get
ancients
I
call
don't
it
get
the flower of life.
Yeah.
But the flow is good too. It's the same thing.
Well, anyway, I think we're 42 minutes and we have done well. Desire versus discipline. I mean, the discipline, like you said, will come. It just follows through. It follows, yeah.
So if you're having trouble staying disciplined, find your desire. That's
and
the basis.
or if you have it, shine it up.
Shine it up and stop looking at your discipline sheet and look at
Yeah.
your desire sheet. Like check
good.
in with your desire. It sounds so like fleshly and so like,
It sounds it, but it's not.
but it's not, because
got
it's
a good-
actually the way that I think God has desires, and He loves desire. Like He desires, He delights in things. He delights in us, and He desires in us, and He has jealous love for us. And I just think that sometimes we put it in a box and we think, oh, we can't desire anything in life, and we shouldn't want anything. No, we should work with it.
I got
We
a
should just get our
practical
wants
step.
onto God's page.
Yes, I have a practical step.
What, mate?
Good old vision board. That's what those are for. They're to switch you. That you hang it up in your gym or whatever it is, wherever your fridge. You see it and you go, oh yeah. When I look at mine and I see Brad Pitt in the movie Fight Club, and I'm like, that's why I'm. Oh yeah, get out there.
Didn't you hang the house that you're living in now? Didn't you put that? Was that something you put on something like that on a vision board? But now you're living in it.
I was living in a little tiny swamp house with
Didn't you
terrible.
put a pool on a vision board?
It was all on the vision board. Now I'm living at it.
And people could say name it and claim it, but I'm telling you, that's the quantum world, right? Whether you believe it or not, sorry, it happens.
When you're look, when you're standing in the middle of the dream you dreamed on paper years ago, that's potent stuff. No one can argue with you. No one can cite any passage from anything to try to talk you out of that.
No one can, and I'm telling you what. How many years ago? It's 20-something years ago. I was living in a little trailer, in my cockroach trailer home. I had a friend. She said, Pearl, you should draw your dream home. You know, just draw it. And I was like, I don't want to draw my dream home. She's just like, draw it for me, because she was all into, you know, what you draw and manifest. And at the time, I was a big doubter and all that. I was kind of a, you know, I grew up a pastor's kid, so I'd seen and heard everything, and I was like a little bit jaded. Don't give me your woo-woo stuff, you know. Now I'm a big woo-woo. But she's like, just do it. And so I sat there and drew my dream home. It was covered in rocks, you know, stone clad, and it was beautiful, and it was farm-like, and it looked like a manor, but it looked very, very homely. It's that home right there.
Yeah.
It's that
You
exact.
drew it.
I drew it, that exact home.
That's epic.
With the archways and the stones. I never thought I'd have it. But when I was drawing, I thought, wouldn't this be epic? Maybe I could. Little, as I was drawing it, little seeds of hope started flowing. And then I kept that. It burned in the fire, but I kept that all those years. And then it became reality. It is what it is. It's right there.
Well, every now and again, you might meet somebody who's like, I didn't try at all. I was sabotaging my whole life and really just trying to make it fall apart. And I just hit the lottery, and here I am just crushing life and enjoying everything. And I have all these great relationships with my kids and family. Maybe that's out there. But most people, I mean, you look at Conor McGregor, one of the greatest UFC fighters, or Will Smith. I know you can't, he's canceled because he slapped Lil Homie.
I didn't cancel him.
You didn't cancel Will? Will's back. I think he's in Bad Boys 3 or something, 4. Yeah, Will's back. Some people don't want to let him in.
I'm a forgiver.
You got to forgive. I mean, I've reached out and pimp slapped somebody a time or two. Yeah, just you don't mean it. It's just there you are walking on a stage in front of 1 million people. It's like, don't talk about my wife, Pam. That happens. But, you know, usually 99% of the time, people got intentional and conscious and started believing woo-woo stuff and started getting vision boards out. And you want to get real powerful. Don't do it alone. Involve your spouse, the energetic union of all ages, and get that going. And you two agree and on what it should be, and make sure she's comfortable or he's comfortable, and they're getting what they want too. It's not your big dream. Where
No,
they're
this is not we're dreaming
right.
of red Ferraris and all this kind of stuff.
No.
Although some people do.
I know, but my point being is we're not here saying this is what you need to do in life. We're just
No.
trying to say, oftentimes when you put down your desire and you find that desire and you shine it up, you're working towards it without even realizing
Exactly. You
Okay.
start
Because you got
working,
hope and you're
the
thinking-
discipline comes in.
Okay, and let me. I know we tried to close, and now we're back because
I know.
we're like
We got
Pentecostals.
invigorated.
But like, here's the thing. Let me break you through the whole vanity part and the like. You know, I don't want to munch, and I don't care about a munch, and it's like, if you get out of that and think in terms of art and creation, or customizing your like in a video game, you customize your character. You in Minecraft, you build your Minecraft house with the color choices you want and everything. Once you get into art and creation and expression, it's about what sort of experiences do you want to have. One of the experiences I've always wanted, that now in my 40s it has been created about me, was pool parties with an outdoor grill, with an umbrella in the shade, and like people in flowered shirts, you know, and kids coming down a slide. You know, that is just, it's not about the name it, claim it, or the materialism of it. It's about, what do you want your level to look like? How do you want to customize your house? How do you want while you're here, you only have a little bit of time. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
It's so true, Serene. And that's how your husband how did he start looking after his body and weight training? He created it first.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
He
mine
could
might have
never-
been drawing my house, but Sam's was buying equipment off eBay.
And building a whole nother level onto our home, 3 stories up, to make himself this epic place
And
that
he'd
he'd
never
want to
worked
work
out yet.
No,
He hadn't worked out, but now it's built. He goes into his room that it's his creation. It was his vision.
I mean, Sam and Serene were dirt poor while I'm watching Sam with a finish nailer. I always tell the story. He's got a finish nailer framing the house. You need a frame nailer to frame a house. Yeah. And he was just like, but I own a finish nailer. I'm going to build this. And like, you know, what ended up happening is as he was taking action, people came around him and brought the frame nailer and brought the things necessary. But he was like, it's happening. I'm not waiting. This is what I want. I remember one of your first houses, he made, there was a secret little cabinet, and you open the cabinet, surprise, it's a ladder that goes down.
Yeah.
And it was the only way to access the whole basement, which was this other fun world, and kids were like in this heaven. And I remember when I saw that, it like changed so much for me, because I was like, oh, you can do this unsafe stuff where you just put a ladder in a cabinet and it goes to another place in the house.
Out in Hitman County, there was at the time no codes. No codes.
Oh, and I don't mean unsafe physically.
Yeah.
I meant unsafe in terms of
it was kind of
like,
unsafe physically too. Come on.
Maybe.
No, we made it. We made it totally safe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it had that.
I always felt like it was unsafe.
And the ladder at first was unsafe.
Yeah.
But that was just until we built the proper.
And then you do a
staircase
slide?
Yeah, we had a slide in our home too.
and it was a
We
slide.
also had a big bungee cord swing in the
Yes.
middle of our living room.
It was so playful, and it changed me a lot from going from like, what's the standard way to build to like, what do you want to build? And that's kind of my point, is like, it's not about materialism. It's about what do you want to build.
It's about desire.
Desire.
And then everything happens, like you said, the framer comes around, or, you know.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't matter, because you're just so happy. Because we also, the other things come into play, content, you know, and you're totally desiring to be a contented person, so that's a desire too. And so it's not like, oh, I haven't got this yet, or it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's just about having hope and creating.
Ooh, and last one. I want my outer world to match my inner world. Inside, I envision a futuristic, like LED lit house of the future, right? Where you walk in and it's like bling, your shower like starts to glow green and play tropical music.
See, I don't imagine mine like that.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is though, I want like, I don't want to dream about those things. I want to like walk through those things out here, and I want to show my kids how to do it. I want to show them like, hey, you can have fun and play in this world. It's not all business. You don't have to just have it like this because it's the affordable one. You can actually just blow money on.
I think you need to speak it too, you know, because I think speaking really
helps too.
Peeing, you got to pee. But hold on, we're going to...
Gotta
No,
pee.
not peeing. I don't have to pee, but we peed on all that land we own now.
Oh, yeah, you went and peed.
Physically
didn't you?
pee.
I didn't pee. My children pee. We just went on long walks and like, we love this land. Wouldn't it be great one day to have it? And they just happened to need to pee.
Oh, so
we
it
peed
wasn't
for so
let's
many
pee.
years.
I like that though.
Oh, it was just we
It's
claimed
marking
it.
your
with it. Yeah,
territory.
Hey, there I am outside of the Ferrari dealership.
But, you know, I feel like speaking...
What are you doing? That's illegal. I'm claiming my territory.
But, you know, I just feel like I spoke about that home that is now manifest a lot because after I drew it, I felt like, well, no, it is going to happen now. Over the years, I felt it would. So, you know, I talked to husband about it. But now we have to expand our home. Too many grandchildren didn't make the living room big enough.
I know. When I go over to your house, I used to be so like, what's wrong with my house? I don't know how to keep it like normal, like sane. Pearls is always saying we do all the business meetings there, but then
The grandchildren.
because her children are raised, but then they've been watching more grandchildren lately, and I walk in and I'm like, this is a disaster. It's chaos.
Not built for
it's the worst
grandchildren.
house ever.
It needed a whole basement for grandchildren or a side whole room that's very protective.
Like
they
a
can't die
playroom.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need.
And I don't have that. And then the adults can sit in the nice living room and talk. We don't have that. The
Yeah.
kids are in front of our faces
all
going
one.
mental. And so I've started to talk to Charlie about it. I'm like, we need to add on to this house. You know, let's just think. We don't need to do it now, but let's just talk about it.
Build
And
a gym. Build like a
I
gym with
already
a
built
basketball
my
court.
gym.
Yeah, she's got a great
But
gym.
I
No,
did
no, like
a
a kid.
gym. But now I'm talking
yeah.
about that, and I know it's going to happen because we're talking about
Yeah,
it, and
exactly.
it's going to manifest, and we're believing, and it's going to happen. But we need to end.
Good old man. Bye.
Yeah, if anyone's still here.